Okay, on this video, it is going to be a phone call that I just had a few moments ago with a friend and business associate that I've known for over 20 years. And we are discussing the topic of my last video, which is that white racism and nothing else can stop or is stopping black people from succeeding. Like myself, he is a successful business owner. He's in the process of launching a new business which has a valuation of over $30 million right now. It's going to grow substantially beyond that, hopefully. And he is a software designer and programmer. So I wanted to listen in and eavesdrop on our conversation. I recorded it, and I let him know that I was recording because that is a requirement in the state of California. So listen to the conversation we had. See whatever you can get out of it. Comment. Agree, disagree, like, unlike, do whatever you want to do. But I was inspired to do this because of some of the responses and commentary on my last video.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Hey, Ben, what are you doing?
I'm just doing busy bill paying, stuff like that.
You said bill paying and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. What's going on?
I want to interview you for a broadcast that I want to put online. And I want to interview you about your company because I posted up a video recently. As a matter of fact, did you watch the video that I gave you the link to? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Is that a yes? Are you saying you watched the video I sent you the link to?
Oh, you know what? I don't think I have. I watched the videos about the court case, the mock trial against Bitcoin.
No, not that one. The other one, the one that you said you watched the first part of, the one where.
We're actually trying to launch. I didn't get a chance to watch it. What is it about?
Well, you'll see it for yourself. It's only 10 minutes. I'm basically saying that white racism does not and cannot stop black people from succeeding. Now, in the very first part of the video, I acknowledge that it is absolutely a thing, that we are in a white supremacist society. It is predominantly white culture, and that the system is set up by those who are in power to stay in power and to give preferential treatment to those who are white. And my attitude and response is, so freaking what? That is absolutely a deterrence and a hindrance and an obstacle, but it's not something that stops you. Because see, one thing I understand about this, if you get in a marathon race, even if the winner has already won, if part of your challenge was to complete that marathon, which I've never done, you've never done, most people can't do, including me, I don't think, run 23 freaking miles. But even if the winner has already gotten his trophy and his cash and gone home, you don't lose until you stop. So nothing stops you until you quit. So for anyone to acknowledge that white racism can stop them from being successful, that means they've given up. And some geniuses don't seem to understand that. Nobody ever suggested there are not challenges and difficulties and things like that. You know, and that's why I wanted to talk about your company, because regardless of what happens going forward, regardless of what happens, regardless of what obstacles you face, you cannot blame those obstacles that you face for why you were stopped, because there are always other ways to do things. I mean, Mr. Johnson never would have had Johnson Publications if he'd have stopped when they basically told him to his face they would not lease him the building he needed to start Jet Magazine and Ebony Magazine because he was black. He could sit around right now drinking a 40 on a street corner saying that, yeah, man, I tried to be successful, but no, he earned over $1 billion. But the reason that didn't stop him is because he went around that obstacle. In fact, what he did is he got a white man to front for him and leased the building, and he basically put it in someone else's name. But he wasn't stopped. And I get so sick of the Negroes that always want to present, just want to focus on the negative. Focus on the negative, which doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't help anybody. You know?
What? Can I say something?
Okay, let me say one more thing. If I went to a company and tried to buy a business and had the cash, and they said, well, we're not going to sell it to you because you're black and we don't want black people to own this company, and we're going to sell it to a white man even if we have to finance it. That doesn't mean you can stop me. I can't force you to sell me the building, but who says I have to use your building? I can get another one. I can do what so many people have done. I can use my own garage if I have to. Or I can get someone else to front for me. I can outsmart you. I can play chess. So I acknowledge that you might have faced obstacles, but to say that the reason you're not successful is because white racism stopped you, that is a cop-out and that is an excuse. Go ahead. Say whatever you want. But
Ross Perot has been a billionaire for a long time, and he says about himself that he's too dumb to quit, and I like that because it says something that a billionaire is saying with authority, that it isn't about smarts, it's about persistence, it's about focus, and if you're a pit bull and you have a bite of deer or caribou or whatever you're biting, you're not going to let go if you got an understanding that that is meat and that is your dinner. You don't lose your focus. You just stay focused. If you get beaten by a competitor, count it as education and learn how your competitor succeeded. Because,
no, I'm just agreeing exactly.
So I believe that not having teachers in education who have real life education, real life work experience is a real handicap, because when there's a career day and the students hear somebody from a field they're interested in, they're focused and they're interested. But when it's back to their regular teacher, they don't show respect because, first of all, they're not disciplined, and second of all, they don't see the money. They don't see how it's applied. The practical application of math is not clarified in school. When you get deep into math, it's wonderful. It's like physical perfection. The teachers don't talk that way about it. The teachers hate math, and they communicate that, and they don't do anything with their smarts like invest in stock or write theory. So students come away from math with a perception that it is not valuable. It doesn't have practical application.
Right.
They're about to go to Mars.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question. Now, your company valuation right now is about $30 million, right?
Who said that?
You.
I believe it's probably more than that.
Okay, fine. That's all. I just wanted to make that point.
If we were to try and sell it.
You don't have to explain it. I'm just trying to make a point because I'm recording this. It's over 30 million. Who knows exactly what it is, but you have reasonable, logical reasons to conclude that it has this valuation. My point is this. Here's my absolute point. When I went to Las Vegas for the Amazon Amazing Selling Machine convention, and there were so many, multitude, literally, I would say hundreds of people that had become millionaires within the last few years with this course that I paid $4,000 for, and it was new to me at that time. The keynote speaker was supposed to be Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon. He was going to come. He agreed to, but he wasn't able to make it. So instead, we got Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I had the opportunity to meet with him. And one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki said was that every single publisher denied his book. They would not publish him. He self-published Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So for anyone to say that they stopped him, maybe they didn't want to publish him because he was Asian. Maybe they didn't like the title. It doesn't matter what the reason is. And if it was a black man and every publisher denied it, these black people that I'm trying to enlighten, the ones who don't get it, they would say it's because he's black. But Robert Kiyosaki, and everybody knows it's one of the best sellers ever for that type of book, he self-published it. You did not stop him. It was only after he self-published it and was selling a ton of copies and getting a lot of traction that the other publishers, the big publishers, came back to him and said, "Hey, we want to publish you now." And that happens all the time. You know?
Wow, I gotta pay some bills. but I do want a little more insight. If there's no writ of execution against me.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I just wanted to have a short conversation, to record it, so it's something other than me talking, saying the same thing, because some people refuse to get it.
I got you.
And I think that's sufficient, right? Because that I actually that I know what I'm talking about. That there's people that are doing the thing that other people want to do, that are running and controlling successful businesses. Black people, by the way. You are black, right? Yes, thank you. And it's not just me. I could get 1,000 people on the phone that would confirm this, but these geniuses just want to debate every freaking thing.
I gotta tell you, I've talked to people who have been local leadership in the NAACP, national leadership in the Urban League, which is about job training. I've talked to people who you see on TV, like Dyson.
And you've met Oprah Winfrey and been on her show as an invited guest, right?
Hutchinson, yes.
No. I just want to confirm that. You've met Oprah Winfrey and have been on her show as an invited guest, right?
That's right. I actually produced the show and there was a guest. That's right.
Right. And what year was that?
That's 96.
Okay, I just wanted to establish that I'm not just talking to somebody off the street. That's
this is the mentality that I see among progressives, white, black, educators, civil rights leaders, and that includes Martin Luther King. But he really didn't have a chance to really get into commerce. He was getting involved in anti-war. He was getting involved in labor. I don't know that he ever got a chance or an opportunity to get involved with innovation, entrepreneurship. He certainly understood that. But what I don't see among those who are, in some cases, protesting justifiably, in most cases, because Maxine Waters gets a bum rap, she does spend a lot of time on training facilities, programs, but in general, there are very few elected officials or celebrities that get it. What am I talking about it? Well, if that old story about the Dutchman with his thumb in the dike, right? He has a thumb in the dike.
Right. I'm familiar with that.
And he's trying to save the whole flippin' country. And I forget what happens. Do they ignore him? Are they ignoring him? Or what happens? What was the whole point?
I actually heard that story first when I was in Germany from a German teacher, and that's where it originated at, over there.
Can you tell me how it ends? Because I'm trying to make a point, and I hope the story reflects my point.
You know what? I have to tell my brain to search back in my data bank of memories from so long ago and try to recall that. But right now, I don't.
But if it was an English story, they'd sit around for days and months discussing the best way to stop.
And I think nobody would take him seriously. He couldn't leave to let anyone know how serious it was. And I think what happened is he could only hold the water back so long. I think the dam basically broke. And a lot of people died because nobody would listen to him. No one would take him seriously. And he was just standing there, and anybody that would pass by, and if I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong, because that was a long time ago. I was probably about 10 when I first heard that. But he was just standing there, literally holding back keeping the thing from basically being destroyed, but nobody would take him seriously.
I think whether that's the original story, that's the point I wanted to make. There's so much attention on hurt feelings when there is not only a huge crisis, but there is an even bigger opportunity. What do I mean?
You're 100% right.
The potential of our economy is massive. I mean, our economy could easily be 100 times bigger, and the general wealth and prosperity could be significantly higher for every American. And we hear the people who are in many cases really rightfully focused on an issue, such as Howard Jarvis's organization trying to protect property owners. Gung Ho, yes, they've been successful. They're chopping away at Prop 13, but it saved a lot of elderly people from losing their homes.
No, but
Bravo.
what you said about hurt feelings, that's exactly what happens when you try to tell black people that I am not invalidating your excuse. I am saying stop allowing your excuses to hold you back. Go forward and do not give up. Don't quit. Don't be a quitter. Don't be a loser. And your feelings get hurt because that is the one thing that gave you comfort. And now you start to feel like a bigger loser and a bigger failure because somebody's telling you that there's something wrong with you because you quit. Well, something is wrong with you.
You've been much more successful than me in terms of your ability to increase through investments, career choices. I, however, have had probably over 80 jobs. And in some cases, I worked for years, which is very, very rare. I hardly ever had a job for more than 3-4 years. But in the beginning of my career, I was moving up. Every time I change, I get a big raise. And so when you are exposed to pretty much every job and every industry and how it works in software and the cutting edge of that industry and who are the independents and who are the corporate, you kind of learn everything about everything. And then when you go into the same old type of company and you see how it's run and who's running it, you understand the culture. And when you just go to Tito's Tacos and you see they have incredible tacos, but their lines are really, really slow, you understand that particular company culture is family-based.
Do they really have incredible tacos? I've never had them.
Oh, it isn't just the tacos, it's the cheddar cheese.
Okay, I'll try it.
You know what? That's kind of like heroin, because a lot of Mexican recipes, this is hard shell shredded beef. They don't offer much cheese, and it may not be cheddar. It's often white cheese. When you have
let's not get focused on tacos now.
So what I'm talking about is where was I going? Because I'm almost done.
Basically, you're talking about small independent businesses and versus corporate America.
Okay. When you go from business to business, and you got a government organization, military organization, you see the military runs like a top. Often government runs like it doesn't run at all. It's totally broken. And like nobody is empowered to talk about it because you're in the system. If you talk about it, you're blacklisted. So it's like that in many, many private and government industries. And yet, when the people who are responsible for revenue for everything, that is small business and corporation, are succeeding and they're doing well, it's like people don't respect them. They don't give them credit. Yeah, GM is putting out bad cars compared to some other car dealers, but GM employs a lot of people. They are doing a lot of things in many other areas besides cars. Let's not just knock them because they're not Mercedes-Benz. Let's understand that if we are too critical of our homegrown industries, we're going to go out of work too.
Okay, but my main issue is the concept of people as individuals getting out of their own way, being able to progress and succeed, whether we're talking about jobs, school, businesses, or anything else, and to stop blaming anything or anyone else other than themselves, because the moment you do that, you might as well go kill yourselves or just admit to failing. Because if a person is 80 years old and they are still striving towards a goal, I will not say that they have failed, because you don't fail until you quit. So when you say that white racism or anything else has stopped you, that means you have quit. And the only thing that made you quit is yourself. Nobody forces you to quit.
It's like being a zombie. To accept that kind of defeat is unnecessary. And I think the instant remedy is going to shows events like you go to industry events, talk to people that you know that are really financially successful.
Listen, you need to watch that video. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell people. As a matter of fact, please watch that video today. My whole point is that is the absolute secret. And that's not the only secret, but it absolutely is a secret. You're absolutely right. So much can happen to get away from the negativity and start surrounding yourself.
Reverse brainwashing.
Exactly, reverse brainwashing. You start surrounding.
It's cold water in your face, loser. Everybody else is winning, even people who had it tougher than you. So get off your ass.
Oh my God! Let me tell you something, Ben. Listen, when I go to these events and I listen to these very successful people, multimillionaires, their stories will absolutely freaking blow your mind. So many of them have 10 times more excuses than what the people sitting out there ever thought they could have. And you don't know that until you listen to them tell the stories and look you in the eye and tell you where they came from and how they did what they did. And you'd be surprised. Most of the events I go to, there's always black people that you didn't know anything about that they invite to stand up and tell their story too. It's not just a black and white thing. There are so many people that are leaders in these industries of entrepreneurship who are black. So many. And there are so many people that have the story of not having everything handed to them on a silver platter. I love listening to this one guy, Chris Record. He put on this one.
Pay some bills.
Okay.
But you remember the Dawn of the Dead was a black production, right? And he didn't pay much for actors. You know that because all the actors did was act like zombies. What? But it's now one of the most profitable franchises in print and film. And look what he started with: a cheap B movie that was spun into a massive comic franchise.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
So, I mean, he didn't even have real actors. He had zombies. And the guys, he passed away last year.
And
right?
you know, Robert Townsend, he couldn't get financed in Hollywood. He took $60,000 worth of credit cards and produced his own movie called Hollywood Shuffle. Right?
Oh, that was Townsend. That's right.
Yeah, and my comedian friend, the guy Hurricane, friend of his produced a movie for $500. And it got picked up by Lionsgate Films they only paid him $50,000, but he only spent $500 to get it. He gave all the actors an IOU for $250. You see?
He financed it.
Well, no. In other words, he spent $500 out of his pocket. That's the only money he invested. He didn't pay any of the actors. He gave them an IOU saying, if I ever make any money with this project, I will give you like $250. If I don't make any money, then you still had fun. Lionsgate Film picked it up at a film festival. They wrote him a check for $50,000. I don't know what they did with it. I've seen the movie. It's a piece of crap, but hey, come on. In other words, stop making excuses. Nothing can stop you. And the guy had no background, no training, nothing. Okay? I've got a ton of stories like that. You know?
I'm thinking about.
There's another film. Another friend of mine who knows everybody in Hollywood. My God, she was a model, very, very hot. Well, she was anyway. But she did an event that I attended for this other friend of hers who had produced a movie. I think he spent about $5,000, maybe 10 times as much, and it was a lot better quality. You wouldn't even know that it was as low budget as it was. And I think the name of that film was Baby Daddy or My Baby Daddy or something like that, which is actually pretty good.
I got to go, but I wanted you to know that I am very grateful that I didn't get mixed up with any kind of socialization in Hollywood. I've turned down many opportunities to go to charity events, award shows from people in the business, from just people who like to go to those kind of events. Right. And God told me not to shake Oprah's hands when I was on the show. I have some inside information that's not really secret anymore. It's really all over the internet about Bernie Mac. It's as conspiratorial as the rumors about Tupac and Biggie, but okay. And actually, there's less evidence because we know what happened to Biggie and Tupac. We know that there were some specific people involved.
Well,
so they kind of, huh?
Okay, I really
don't want you to come over.
I don't want to discuss that right now because I told you I'm recording this.
Oh, okay.
And I know his family, and I don't want to discuss that on this.
I got you. Well, I just want you to cut that out then.
Man, I don't want to cut anything out. I just want to keep it and just do it.
It's pretty. Oh well, it's pretty. Well, wait till you see the videos.
Yeah, but anyway, do what you have to do because it's been like 23 minutes.
Okay, I gotta go, and I'll call you later tonight because I have a whole bunch of questions. I am going forward with the projects. Well, I'll tell you. Bye.
Okay, later.